Hi everyone, welcome back. In this video we're going to be looking at vowel alteration as it affects adjectives. I need to apologise here, some of the information in my previous video looking at vowel alteration in nouns was wrong, so I'm going to need to go back and correct that. So if I haven't quite got round to correcting that, the information in this video supersedes the information in that video. So apologies. The reason for this is because I overlooked something in Agēre's history and the way that a sound change would work, which means that vowel bending doesn't happen anymore. I will get round at some point to replacing the information in that video. If any information conflicts with that video in this video, treat this video as gospel and the other one as heresy. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's have a look at vowel alteration in adjectives. Firstly, we're going to look at vowel breaking, and we're going to revisit this table that we've been using to catalogue the declension of adjectives according to their class and gender. We can get rid of the abstract immediately because vowel alteration and consonant subclasses, as we've seen in the previous video, don't affect abstract genders. Class 1 and 3 adjectives exhibit alterations in the same way, so I'm just going to condense them into the same row. And finally, vowel breaking, which is a, e, and u becoming ea, e, and eo, only affects inanimates. The reason for this is because vowel breaking is a form of historic I mutation. So for example, you have vazi, which means divine, becoming veazi, because the e in the second syllable affects the long a, which causes it to break into ea. Vowel breaking only affects class 2 adjectives in the nominative and vocative. This is in both the singular and the plural. Classes 1 and 3 also have this in the nominative and vocative, singular and plural, as well as the remaining singular forms. So let's have a look at vowel breaking as it affects first and second class adjectives. For the first class, we have uare, iar, uaras, which means next. We can see that all of the singular forms exhibit the broken vowel ia, whereas the plural only has the broken vowel in the nominative and vocative. Compare this to our second class adjective example, vaze, veaze, vazis, which means divine. Only the nominative and vocative, singular and plural, exhibit the broken vowel ea, as opposed to the unbroken vowel a. We're now going to see how vowel breaking is affected by consonant alteration. In the last video, we saw that consonant subclass endings affect class 1 and 3 inanimates and class 2 animates. Vowel breaking is negated when consonant endings are added. So, if you have a class 1 or 3 inanimate or a class 2 animate that takes consonant endings because the adjective belongs to a consonant subclass, and it would also take vowel breaking, the breaking is negated for the forms which take the consonant endings. I appreciate this is difficult to wrap your head around if you don't have a visual aid, so let's revisit our tables. Instead of having a first class and a second class adjective, now we're going to have a regular first class, uare, iar, uaras, which we saw from the previous slides, and we're going to introduce an adjective that is also first class but affected by consonant subclass endings. So we have fure, theor, huras, which means old. We can see it belongs to the rhotic subclass, so it will take the genitive, dative, and instrumental singular consonant subclass endings ulko, ulwe, and ulle, with the ul supplanting the r that appears in the stem form for the remaining forms. So we would expect to have all of the singular forms, as well as the plural nominative and vocative, exhibit vowel breaking, except we don't. The forms that are highlighted yellow do, so nominative, vocative, and accusative singular, theor, theore, theorer. But the genitive, dative, and instrumental, because they belong to a consonant subclass and take these consonant endings, that supplants the vowel breaking. So they have the unbroken vowel u. So fulco, fulwe, fulle, and then the plural is as you would expect it to be. Now we're going to have a look at brightening. So vowel brightening is a feature of consonant endings where e and u lower to become a and o before the consonant subclass endings. Because it's a feature of consonant endings, when consonant endings apply, brightening will also apply. Here we have an example, laruse, larus, larusas, which means colourful. In the inanimate we have larus, laruse, laruser, and then the u lowers or brightens to become an O. So we have, instead of la rucco, we have la rocco. Instead of la ruse, we have la rose. And instead of la rotte, we have la rotte. So now we can condense all of this information into a summary table. Class 1 and 3 adjectives are only affected in the inanimate, not in the animate. They break in all singular forms as well as the plural for the nominative and vocative. They do take consonant endings, which negate breaking, but brighten if possible. Now we have class 2 adjectives for animate gender. As we've already discussed, they negate breaking, but have brightening. And in the inanimate, they can take breaking but no brightening, and only then in the nominative and vocative, singular and plural. Whew, okay, that was tough. Adjectives, I think, are the hardest aspect of Agēre from a declension perspective, because you have so many different things going on at the same time. You have to consider which class it belongs to, which gender it belongs to, which subclasses it belongs to, which breaking and brightening patterns apply when and which, and consonant subclass endings negating blah blah blah. It's quite complicated, okay? I don't have a full understanding of the way that these adjectives work sometimes, so this grammar series is actually really helpful, not just for you, avid learner, but also for me in trying to, put this stuff into tables and to really make sense of it. So that's adjective declensions for most of the regular forms complete. In the next video, we're going to be looking at adjectives in their comparative and their superlative forms. So I'll see you then.